Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Beth Bell, and I'm going to be your professor for this social psychology online class. I'm really excited. My PhD is in social psychology and social neuroscience, and so this is obviously a passion area for me. We'll be able to cover all kinds of interesting topics: aggression, psychology and the legal system, romance, that's a fun one, persuasion, anything human interaction. So I love it. I'm really excited, and I hope you'll like it just as much as me. One thing I really like about social psychology is that it does have many counterintuitive findings that I think will be applicable to any clients you have in the future. Maybe for a small example, there's a kind of folk tale that opposites attract, but that's totally not true. We'll learn about a lot of different things like that where the popular conception is actually inaccurate. So I think that will be helpful. We will focus on quality of research, and most importantly, I have a keen eye on research that may have been debunked at some point. So I'll make sure that you guys have the most up-to-date information about psychology studies that may be classic, but maybe the findings have not replicated and things have changed. Science is an iterative process, so I'll just keep you guys in the loop about what's the highest quality, what's the most replicated findings, what's kind of shaky, things like that. So yes, my background is in social psychology and social neuroscience. I completed my PhD at UK. Before going there, I was the child advocate at a domestic violence shelter, and I kind of continued that career for several years until I realized that I wanted to study more why my clients might be acting the way that they were. That's when I went and started my PhD. My research lines center around three areas: implicit bias, pain, like the relationship between physical and emotional pain. They share a lot of neurological underpinnings, and we'll talk about that in class. And transcranial direct current brain stimulation, which is just a really interesting tool to do neuroscience research. But all of this research stems around social issues like we'll be talking about in the class, risk taking, decision making, all sorts of things that we'll learn about. So, my goal is for this class to be, of course, educational, of course, but relaxed. I don't want the class to be too stressful. That's very important to me. I want it to be appropriate and not, taking over your lives in this kind of horrible way. So I try to be really cognizant of that in the way that I design the class. So let me tell you a little bit about how I've structured this. First of all, I would like to say that I am not requiring a textbook for this class, because I don't think you should have to spend money on that when I can teach you a lot of this material myself and from primary sources. So I hope that's beneficial to you. And there will be no discussion board in this class, and I hope that makes you really excited. I've just received so much student feedback over the years that people actually aren't getting that much out of it, that I don't think it's worth it. It's very common in online classes, but I decided for the first semester ever to scrap it, so we'll see how that goes. So this class will have 5 units, and each unit will have an A and B part, so it's kind of like 10 mini units or 5 units. When you think of those 5 units, that will kind of guide where we're at in the class. I like to release 1 unit at a time, so I'm not going to release all the course content at one time, and each unit will be due at a certain point in the class. Like the first unit will be due few weeks in, and so on and so forth, just to keep us kind of steady state on what we're learning and make sure not only does nobody get stressed out waiting too long to do assignments, but also that nobody front loads it so much that it really stresses them out. So I hope this will be an approach that works for you. And so in this class, we'll focus on PowerPoints and papers. So these PowerPoints that I have made, I really hope will guide your understanding in a nuanced way about social psychology. Each full unit has 3 PowerPoints. Each presentation, they have audio files on them. So for each slide, you click play and you can hear the audio for that slide. The audio is usually between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, give or take, for each slide. And then those lectures in total are usually like 30 minutes to an hour. So you'll have 3 of those per unit. And the content of those will be assessed on multiple choice tests, but the tests will be entirely open book and you will have plenty of time to complete them in 24 hours. But if you haven't listened to the PowerPoints, I don't think you're going to quite get the nuances that I'm looking for in this test, in these multiple choice tests, because there are some things that are just so narrowed in and so critical thinking-esque that please listen to the PowerPoints. You won't get the most out of this class if you do not listen to the PowerPoints, so I think it's a really good idea to do so. Extremely strongly encourage you to do that. And so it will help you with the test, but like I said, they're more of an open note situation to just make sure you've reinforced the concepts that you've been learning in that unit. But your primary method of assessment in this class will be on short papers, and you'll need the content from the PowerPoints to inspire what you think about those as well. Each paper will be 3 to 5 pages long, and they will each draw from a set of a couple articles. And so for each unit, you'll actually get to choose between 2 prompts and 2 sets of articles. So in that way, you don't have to read all the articles for the unit, just the articles that go with the 1 out of 2 paper prompts you've chosen, because it's kind of an opportunity to take a deeper dive into a part of the unit that you are most interested in. So we have the breadth from the lectures, but we have the depth from the papers. I'm even going to put how many page numbers each article is when I'm giving these prompts, just because that might be something you would look at, so just to make it easier. And yeah, so these 3 to 5 page papers, I'll give solid prompts where you'll hopefully understand what I'm looking for, but please feel free to reach out to me at any time, as often as you would like. Even the silliest questions. I'm so open to that. I really appreciate student interaction, and I just want you to feel like you can come to me even if you want to discuss content in the class, if you're finding it very interesting, or if you have any small questions about anything at all, please do email me. Office hours I hold at your convenience over Zoom, so if you need office hours, email me and we'll set some up. I'd love to do that. I have a hard time getting people to come to my office hours, so I'd be delighted. But yes, we'll have these papers. So think about it this way. We have 5 units, and each unit has 2 topic areas with 3 lectures, and there's 1 multiple choice test per unit, and that will be open book, open note, but you'll need the lecture content to master that. And then in addition, you will have the papers for each unit. And so I have decided that you only will need to write 3 out of the 5 papers because I do realize that these papers are a deeper dive into specific issues, and I want you to be able to have the time and the mental capacity to do the best you can on 3 papers of your choice for that unit. Well, not for that unit, for the class. So class has 5 units, but you only have to write papers for 3 of the units. So I hope that will kind of, like I said, give you the mental capacity to really critically think about these short paper topics. Um, I think that is mostly it. I'll post an announcement if there's something I forgot. I'll open Unit 1, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll stay in touch with you all through announcements and things like that. I will say the multiple choice tests are offered on one specific day. If you have any kind of conflicts or anything, let me know on the front hand and I will try to accommodate you as well as I can. I know maybe some people might be a little bit stricter about it, but to me, you know, I know that life happens. I know it happens to me. We're in a pandemic, childcare issues, all sorts of things like that. So, like I said, be on the front end as much as possible, but I will work with you on whatever you need to come up with a solution that helps you meet all the goals of the class and master all the content if you need to do things just a little bit of a different way. So, like I said, I'm glad to work with you. I think you're going to love the content. It's just fascinating, and I don't think that's just me. So I really hope you enjoy, and I'll be in touch.